holding on to that somebody else needs to carry? If you're doing everything yourself, you're not running a company, a business. You're not thriving. You're surviving. Because in order to reach success, you have to delegate. You have to use delegation as your weapon. In this video today, I'm going to tell you 5 ways of why it's so important to delegate in your businesses if you want to reach the success you want to reach in 2025 and beyond. Let's just jump right into today's video. All I ask on the other end is you subscribe, you share this, and you like this video. If you're doing everything yourself, you're not thriving. Your business is probably suffering. In order for us to seek success and the success we desire for our businesses and our companies, we have to learn to delegate. Delegation is wisdom. It allows us to open up the gates. We saw this in Moses, how he was able to delegate his responsibilities. Jesus shows us the importance of delegation. God showed us the importance of delegation. He delegated what we had to do, and he created the one who would come and save our sins, right? He could have taken on the responsibility himself. No, he said, I am going to bring somebody that the world has never seen, his son. And that's exactly what we want to do in our businesses. We want to delegate. We want to exemplify what God has done for us. We want to exemplify what it means to actually grow and scale our businesses. And in order to do that, we need to know that it's working for us. Delegation and putting it out to somebody else that can take on that mental stress is what's the wisdom that can keep your business going and thriving for 2025 and beyond. Key number 1. Great leaders know that they cannot do everything themselves. They empower others to do more. Great leaders train those to do better for them? Or not even do better for them, do better for themselves, which in turn work for the company. Because in order for you to scale, you want the best people around you in those kind of industries that you need. Marketing, sales, whatever industry you need for your business to grow and scale, you need to find the best people qualified. Sometimes you have a great individual in that area, but their skills need to be developed. You invest into that, right? You hire some kind of mentorship so they can get training and skills training to do so. I've been going on a couple company trips to show that kind of leadership. I've been able to hold seminars and show these individuals how to create leadership from inside that in turn work for your company on the outside in the scaling avenue of life. A key tip to know when you really need to start hiring somebody is if you're the busiest and smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You're in the wrong room. 1, but then you also have built a cage, not a company. You have built people who just fuel your engine. You have built people to say how good you are. You don't want that. You want to surround yourself with people who are intelligent, smart, witty, the people that will take your business forward, who make you better. Key to business is knowing that delegation has to work for you. Meaning, it's not making things seem like it's dumbing down tasks. No, it's actually elevating people in those specific areas that you already have. The people that you already have in your company, how can you make them better? I heard Barbara Corcoran say, your employees don't work for you, you work for them. When you have that mindset, your business starts to scale and grow because you know your assets are your employees. You want them to stay, right? On the other flip side, employers, when they're hiring these employees, they look to see how many jobs have these employees had. When you stay, when you've had one job, you're enticing. I want to hire you for my company. Why? Because you show me loyalty. You show me you're willing to learn. You're willing to grow. So there's 2 ends of that. And if you know that, majority of times these employees stay because they love the employer, right? They love the company. They support the brand. And sometimes they don't, but they just love the person they work for, their boss. And that is important. When you serve your employees, they will serve you and in turn grow your business. Moses and Jesus, like I mentioned, had empowered others to carry the vision. They empowered others how to take the vision that they've built, that Jesus and Moses had already built, how to carry that vision to make it your own as an employee. These are important tactics that you need when you're hiring for delegation, right? You want somebody who wants to carry out the vision. Number two, delegation is not losing control. It's actually transferring trust, meaning the trust you have onto your employees. You're telling them, I trust you. I trust you with the vision for this company. I trust you to work in this avenue. And most people love working for people who trust them. Because what? It empowers them. It makes them want to work harder. It makes them want to do better for you and for your company. The biggest thing you can do is tell somebody you trust them. Because why? It elevates them, and it gives them a sense of loyalty that you're not just gonna leave me. Because if you trust me, most of the time, you give me some kind of backing. You're gonna give me some kind of backing to know that you're gonna be with me throughout this process. And that's what delegation does. It does not lose your control over your situation in your company, your business. No. Delegation actually takes that seed that you've already built, right, and transfers the trust. That's what you're doing. And at Multiply Your Seed, we show you how that delegation works for you. We show you how to delegate in the right ways, how to empower your employees, how to make sure they want to work for you, how to be the boss that they want to work for. All these different avenues, building mindset growth, right? Scaling and growing mindset growth. That is one of the things that people really miss when it comes to scaling and growing your company is you don't think that you actually have to empower yourself to want to have people follow you. When Jesus said, follow me, he already exemplified there's a reason to follow him, right? We don't just pick up and follow Jesus. His track record speaks for himself, right? So when an employee wants to follow you, that's a big trust level for them too. And as an employer, I see that and I'm like, wow, I need to cultivate that. I need to protect that. I need to empower that person to want to continue to give me the trust, right? And that's what delegation does. When you start delegating, you tell me you trust me. And that's the transferring of the trust. When people feel like you expect something from them, they rise. You know, I love the Bible. Why? Because God expects something from me, right? He expects me to be better. And what do? I try my best to rise every single day. That's what the Holy Spirit does for you. Every single day, and that's the reason I gave my life to Christ, is because it allowed me to reach something better, an expectation that was better than me, right? And so what I desire for your company is an expectation for your employees to be better, right? You want to provide that for them, and you give them that avenue when you start delegating. You give them abilities over certain situations in the company, and they start giving it back to you, meaning they start speaking about your company well, right? All this stuff's work for you, not against you. Number 3, you can't scale what you don't share. So do your employees know where you're trying to go? Have you held that team meeting that tells the employees, this is what I demand from the organization. This is where I see the company going. Have you spoken to them? What are they going behind, right? Just you? Yes, they want to follow you. Yes, they want to devote themselves to your purpose and the vision for the company. But have you given them that? Show them the mission statement. Teach them the way you should go, because what is the bigger picture in mind? What am I working for? Am I working for this company to fold in 5 years? No. I want to know that if I come into this company, maybe I have a job for 10, 15 years, but where are you going to allow that to happen, right? Share the vision with people, with your employees. I'm not saying go to the world and share the vision, because maybe you don't want to share too soon, right? We got to know when to be silent and when to express. But you need to share with your employees that are trying to back you. And if you don't do that, they won't know where you're trying to go. And sometimes they'll just be disinterested in actually sharing your vision out, because they don't know where you're trying to go. So it's important to get people onto the same vision, and you have the team meetings and the hard conversation. I love this quote. Your vision will hit a ceiling if you don't share the weight. Why? Because the weight is too heavy. This is why Jesus came, to share the weight. He said, put the burdens on him. We shouldn't have it. Meaning, as employers, when we build a company and we launch this company, there's a lot of weight to that, right? There's a lot of weight to our name, but to the company, there's so much weight and so much delegation that needs to be done. that weight is tearing your company down. Sometimes people think that I don't have the means to do that. I'm not at the place to do that right now. But in fact, you just don't know how to do it. You're not asking the right questions on how can I get this done at a reasonable price, right? And this is what we help with at Multiply Your Seed. We help you price things well. We help you get started with your essentials. We have startup essential packages, right? We have scaling packages for businesses, for ideas, for purpose to profit businesses. We help you take your idea and diversify that, not just into different stream of income, but how can you delegate it? How can you hire? How do you start hiring? Where can you find people to hire, right? We help with all this. And it's important to know the avenues that you can actually save on. Many people don't know that. You can hire somebody, but still save at the same time. Okay, you don't need to break the bank, delegate. Businesses, ministries, and innovators are built on delegation. Okay, systems. Delegation is a fancy word for systems. Okay, you fall to your system. The guy who wrote the book Atomic Habits, you fall to your systems. Your discipline falls to your systems. What system do you have in place for success? For your company and scale, do you have delegation in place? The people you need to run, the people you need to hire. You should have a list when you start the company. The moment this happens, I'm going to start doing this. We need to have those systems in place because when that money comes in, now you're trying to figure out what to do with it, but you've never set yourself up for success. And this is what we help with Multiply Your Seed as well. We help you identify those startup essentials are key to actually a lasting company. What do you have set for you? Okay, you can sign up to my weekly newsletter as well. You can get so much valuable information. I share client testimonials. I share just information. I did a newsletter on this. I'm just elaborating more on this video, but it is so important to get information that will help you scale and grow. I'll put a link down below for the newsletter if you would like to join. Before we move on to tip number 4, I want to let you know that I have a special offer running right now. 25% for anyone looking to scale or grow their company. You need the best for your company. If you're a startup, if you have an idea and you don't know how to get it off the ground, if you're a Fortune 500 business, if you're a business that's been in the industry for 1 to 5 years, anything, we will help you and go alongside you with your core business idea and come up with systems of how you could scale through market research, through things that have already worked in the market, but also creating innovation for your company specifically. A lot of people take what has worked in the market and just burp it out. We don't do that. Okay, we take what works, but now put a spin on how your company can stand out. That has made us the biggest difference. And we have so many people who have been blessed. So back to the video and click the link in the description to reach the 25% off or send me an email at multiplyyourseed@gmail.com. Further along into this video. Tip number 4, holding on to something that you know you need to delegate kills potential. It kills momentum. It kills reach. Most of the time, we don't know when to delegate. That is what most companies fail with. Okay, people might say that the companies fail because of lack of vision. Yes, because actually, in the beginning, you didn't set yourself up to delegate, meaning you didn't set yourself up thinking you were going to succeed, thinking you were going to scale or grow. Many companies set themselves up just for, okay, I'm gonna launch today. How's my business gonna look in a week, in a year? We gotta be thinking long term, okay? We have to think futuristic. I love this quote. Control is the enemy of capacity. Let that sit in. A lot of people love control. Why? Because it gives them a sense of leadership and ownership. But a lot of times, the biggest leadership and ownership thing you can do is hire somebody and delegate it out. Why? Because this tells somebody else that you trust them, but it also gives other people a capacity level over that situation, meaning they have to control that area of the business and you trust them to do that. It brings loyalty into your company. Many people don't think those things, and many people want to hold on to all that control, that leadership, and just never want to delegate it out. I started out in real estate, and one of the biggest deals I've ever done was a JV deal. Why? Because I partnered with somebody. Okay, partnering is one of my favorite things in the world to do. Okay, I'll start businesses with people. It's staying humble. Many times we start a business and we are already think that we're on top of the world. No. Keep your humbleness, okay? And God will bless it. God will send you the people to humble you. God will also show you who you need to help. But in order to do that, you have to be willing to partner and give control out, which is delegation. If you don't like the word control, use delegation, okay? Delegate the work out. Let the load be lighter on you, okay? Let us become a little bit lighter. In order for us to reach the masses, we need to be able to be lighter, okay? You got to stay strict on the vision. Work on the business, not in it. And when you work on the business, it grows faster than when you're working in the business doing 5 different jobs. Sent out this weekly newsletter where I'm working with a shop owner named Kenny. And he had come to us with struggling, right? He had come to us struggling. Didn't know why his business wasn't growing. Didn't know why certain avenues weren't opening up and doors weren't opening, and why he was so stagnant. We came in and helped him first with his mindset, because there was a lot of wrong with the mindset, right? Meaning he didn't actually approach the business to grow mentally. When we came to evaluate his whole shop and the way he runs his business through his business outline, everything showed me that he actually just set himself up for failure. The way he was talking about his business wasn't so motivating. It took a lot for us to actually reach what was happening. The failures he had in his past that came and played a part in his business growing today. We helped him and we cultivated that mindset to grow. He has seen tremendous growth in his mindset for life in general, not just business, but life in general. And he's seen a great change. We were able to build his business to 22% more to scale. Why? Because not just did we work on the mindset, but we worked on his business and his outline. We were able to strategically say, okay, this is where the market is at right now. Okay, how can you take what you do, your unfair advantage, and scale it and use the market, what the market's already doing, and just put a spin on it to make it work for you? And we started delegating first. The first delegation he did was saying, I need help. He hired us as his strategy expansion consulting agency to be able to do so. And he's seen such a change. He's now talking about hiring other avenues that we actually hold in our business as well, such as social media marketing. We have a couple different avenues. If you would like to know, you can send me an email at multiplyyourseed@gmail.com and I will send it to you. But he started delegating this out. And now he's happy to start working with people. One of the best things you can do is partner. Sometimes we just don't know everything, which is okay, right? It is okay to not know everything. But sometimes we need some help. And that's what we step in and we help in. And we're so grateful for Kenny and seeing what he's doing with his life. But we have to be willing to remove the control and give it on to somebody else and tell them we trust them to elevate our vision. Number 5, delegation is a kingdom principle. Like I've mentioned in the beginning, we see it all throughout the Bible, right? But Jesus delegated to his 12 disciples, right? And then later he delegated to 70 and just so many more. And he delegated to us, the Great Commission, right? We need to go do more for him. That elevates his business. He delegated the information and the capacity to us. And I love the trust that he gave me that I can be better. I can be better and share his word. Now I have the question for you. What are you holding on to that somebody else needs to carry? Okay, what has God told you to start? But what has God told you to delegate? Okay, he told you and he called you to the vision of this business. But how are you going to delegate it? How are you going to start scaling and growing? Who needs to be hired so they can carry the weight that is supposed to be off you? As business owners, we have to make those tough decisions. We need to answer those tough questions. Remove control. It starts first from the mind and everything else follows. Follow Christina Speaks Growth and Multiply Your Seed for more tips on how to grow, scale, real estate, and faith. God bless you.